Hi guys, I'm going to start going over the review. I don't know how many problems we'll have in this first video, but I'll talk for about 10 minutes and then I'll stop it and have a second video. The first question asks us to express the number in terms of I. If we have a negative underneath a square root, we can take that to the outside, so that puts an I on the outside. It's not writing for me. Hang on. Puts an I on the outside. And then we look at what's underneath, which is 22. And if you think about 22 as what the factors of 22 are, it's 2 and 11, which are both prime numbers. So there's nothing that has two of the same factors that can be taken out. So underneath, I'm just going to leave 22. So it's I squared root of 22 or the square root of 22I. Either one, it's written the same way. It's just whether it's in the front or the back. But the I is not underneath the square root, so my answer is going to be D, square root of 22I. All right, number 2, write your answer in the form of A plus BI, where A and B are real numbers. So we're going to combine our like terms here. So we're adding. So we want to add negative 8 plus 11, and negative 8 plus 11 is positive 3. And then when I add the I parts, 4I plus 4I would be 8I. So my answer is going to be 3 plus 8I. So my answer is going to be B. Number 3, we're going to combine my like terms. 7 plus 4 would be 11. So the real number part is going to be 11. And then I have minus the square root of negative 64. The square root of negative 64 would be 8I. So minus 8I. And this would be plus, I'm running out of space here, plus 3I. Square root of negative 9 is 3I. So negative 8I plus 3I is going to make minus 5I. So it should be 11 minus 5I. Number 4, 9 minus 5I times 2 plus 4I. We're multiplying here. So we want to make sure that we multiply every factor in the first expression times every factor in the second expression. So another way you guys usually say it is FOIL. 9 times 2 is 18. Then my outers, 9 times 4I is 36I. So 18 plus 36I. My inners would be minus 10I. And then I have minus 5I times plus 4I, which would be minus 20I squared. Now I squared is negative 1, so this becomes 18. If I put 36I and minus 10I together, that's plus 26I. And then minus 20I squared would be plus 20. 18 plus 20 is 38, plus 26I should be my answer. So my answer is going to be C, 38 plus 26I. C, D. All right, one more on this screen. Scroll down. Number 5, 5 plus I over negative 1 minus 7I. We can't have an I in the denominator. We've got to simplify this. So what I want to do is I want to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. Negative 1 minus 7I. To get rid of that, I'm going to multiply by negative 1 plus 7I. And if I do that on the bottom, I have to do it on the top. So now I have to multiply this expression times this expression, the same thing on the bottom, and do FOIL for both. Combine like terms and simplify. So 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. My outers would be plus 35I. My inners would be minus I, and then I'd have plus 7I squared. And on the bottom, negative 1 times negative 1 would be 1. My outers would be minus 7I. My inners would be plus 7I, so I'm not even going to write that. And then I would have minus 49I squared. All right. I squared is negative 1, so this is negative 5, and this becomes a negative 7. So I'd have negative 12, and then 35I minus I would be plus 34I over minus 49I squared would be negative 49. 1 minus negative 49 would be 50 on the bottom. But that can all reduce because 2 can go into negative 12, 34I, and 50. So it's negative 6 plus 17I over 25. And they write it 25. And they write it separately. Negative 6 over 25 plus 17I over 25. So my answer is C. All right, number 6. I know it's down here, but there's not, the answers aren't here, so I'm going to go over here to do number 6. Square root of 2 plus 8i over 3 minus 4i. So I'm going to multiply again by the conjugate, so that's 3 plus 4i, top and bottom. And on the top I get square root of 2 times 3, so that's 3 square root of 2. And then my outers would be plus 4 square root of 2i. And then my inners would be plus 24i. Sorry about that. 24i. I hit something. Go back to the pen. Plus 24i. And then I'd have 8i times 4i, which would be 32i squared, or minus 32, because I squared is negative 1. Alright, on the bottom, I'd have 3 times 3, which is 9. And then I'd have the outers would be plus 12i, and the inners would be minus 12i, so that would cancel. And then my last, negative 4i times positive 4i, is minus 16i squared, which is plus 16. So I'm going to have 25 on the bottom. And on the top, my real number parts are going to be 3 square root of 2 and minus 32. And then my imaginary parts are going to be 4 square root of 2i and 24i. So they've got it separated. 3 square root of 2 minus 32. Okay, it's not these because I got to have I parts and real parts. So both of these have 3 square root of 2 and negative 32 over 25. And then I need to find the one that has 4 square root of 2i and then plus 24. So it's going to be this one. This one has a minus 24. So my answer is going to be D. All right, number 7, I to the 16th. The way powers of I work is they kind of work, we've drawn a clock, right? And so that's not a very good clock. Over here I'd have I to the first, which is I. And then I squared is negative 1. And I to the third is negative I. And I to the fourth is 1. And so it starts over here with the first power and the second power, the third power, and the fourth. And it keeps going around. So the 16th would be 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. I to the 16th is 1. Every multiple of 4 is 1. So I to the 4th, I to the 8th, I to the 12th, I to the 16th is all 1. All right, 3 I to the 5th. So I'm going to have to do 3 to the 5th and I to the 5th. 3 to the 5th is 243. I to the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I to the 5th is I. So 243i, my answer would be B. All right, number 9, where you're solving and they have already factored it. So when you're solving and you've already factored it, all you got to do is set both factors equal to 0. So 4x minus 7 equals 0 and solve that. So to solve that, you'd add 7 and divide by 4. So one of my answers is going to be 7/4. So that it looks like this is going to be my answer, but let me check and make sure. Set the other factor equal to 0. 4x minus 3 equals 0. Add 3, divide by 4, and my other answer is 3/4. So that's C. Number 10, I'm going to try to factor that and then set them equal to 0 like we did up here. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply together to give me negative 48 and add together to give me 2. So my factors of 48 are 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 4 and 12, 6 and 8. Here we go, 6 and 8. So it's going to be plus 8 and minus 6. Those would multiply to give me negative 48 and add together to give me 2. So set both of these equal to 0. X plus 8 equals 0, which is going to give me x equals negative 8. And x minus 6 equals 0. X minus 6 equals 0, which is going to give me x equals 6. So I'm looking for 6 and negative 8. So my answer is going to be A. All right, I'm going to stop the video here, pretty close to 10 minutes. That's the first 10 problems on your review.